mean.
That's why I made that face.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel when you as a reader were hearing those words?
I thought it was a little rude and mean. That's not how a kid should be treated.
Right, I agree. What else do you think, friends? What do you think about what we just read on this page? How are you feeling right now as a reader reading this story about Maya? How are you feeling, Cameron? Sad. I'm feeling sad too. Is anybody else a little bit, mad or angry?
I'm
You're feeling depressed. Yeah. What are you hopeful for at this point as a reader? What are you hoping as a reader of this story? Before we went to recess, Madeline and I were talking on the way out, and she says, "Wow, Mrs. Kohler, I thought this book was going to be about kindness." And I said, "Yeah, it's kind of a big bummer right now, isn't it? It's making us feel bad." What are you hopeful for?
Why is it making you feel bad?
Audrey, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And that's making you feel bad? Disappointed? Why though?
There's a word for that. When we feel bad because they're not treating Maya good, that word is called empathy. Empathy. That's
I think I heard it before.
You think you heard that word? That's kind of a wondrous word, and it means that you understand how someone else feels.
If I was at that school, I would be her friend. I would totally be her friend.
Because Madeline, you totally get it, don't you? You get that why she feels bad.
Yeah, and I want to be her friend right now.
That's
Me
awesome.
too.
Well, what are you hopeful for?
That,
Lillian, what are you hopeful for? At the end, they'll be kind for her. How many friends are hopeful that this story's going to turn itself around?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm hopeful for that. Because as readers, that's what we do. We're thinking about how this character is feeling, and then we have feelings about how we want it to go. Jacqueline Woodson's doing a good job making us care about her characters.
Yeah, I like a little.
The
Not this much.
I love it, Madeline. The days grew warmer and warmer. The pond thawed. Grass began growing where snow had once been. What does Jacqueline Woodson want us to know? Summer's coming? Spring?
It's spring.
So when did this story start?
Winter.
Oh. So
Seasons are passing.
seasons are passing, so
We hear time passing.
time passing, oh my goodness, and it's letting me know as a reader that they've been treating her this way for a while now.
Yeah.
Right?
Almost a month.
One day, Maya came to school wearing a pretty dress and fancy shoes. But the shoes and the dress looked like they belonged to another girl before Maya. Give me a quiet thumbs up if you've ever had something that belonged to somebody else before it belonged to you.
Oh. This sweater used to belong to my neighbor, Hannah.
Yeah. So sometimes they look new, but they belong to somebody else.
I gave my sweater
Fisher?
to.
Oh. I have a new name for her, Kendra whispered. Never knew. Everything she has came from a secondhand store. Secondhand means it's where you would buy something that somebody else used. So like, there's some stores in Appleton, like Goodwill, where I might take something, I might go buy something there because I really like it, but somebody else brought it there, because they were done with it. So that's what secondhand means.
Returning something.
Like returning something.
Yeah,
kind of.
like in a garage sale. In a garage sale, I with the leftover stuff that no one else wants to buy there, we bring it to Goodwill.
It's
Like all my baby stuff.
It's basically just a big garage sale.
It is, those stores, those secondhand stores are like a big garage sale. And you can find some awesome treasures there. And it sounds like Maya did. Except listen to this. I have a new name for her. Never knew.
She always gets stuff from there because she always stuff that grow out of someone that they give to her.
Yeah, do you think that sounds like Kendra? Does that sound like a name you would want to be your nickname?
No.
You guys you know what new they're talking about, right?
I know.
Not a new clothes. She never has
New clothes, always hand-me-downs, or
So-
second-hand.
Kind of teasing her again, I think. Well, here's what it says. We all laughed. Maya stood by the fence. She was holding a jump rope, but did not come over to ask us if we wanted to play. After a while, she folded it double, rolled the ends around each hand, and started jumping. Are you picturing that? Are you picturing that? Rolling the rope around her hands and jumping. Why is she doing that? So she can do what? Play by herself. You got it.
To play with her.
Yes, Derek. She jumped around the whole schoolyard without stopping. She didn't look up once. She just jumped and jumped and jumped.
She's smart.
She does sound smart.
Why do you say that, Jack?
Because she wants to be a friend and she knows how to, and then because she nobody plays with her, she plays by herself.
Hmm.
Do you think she's okay playing by herself?
No. Kind of.
Tell me more.
Because she maybe we don't know if she likes it or she doesn't like it, but we don't know what it is, so.
Yeah, so we're not sure. But what do? We do know something though. We do know that she tried a couple times to get those other girls to play with her. Yeah, like 5 times. It never happened. Mhm. So she figured out to play by herself, but you're right, Jack. We don't know if she liked it. How would you feel?
Sad.
Would you like it, Avery?
No.
No. How many friends think at that point if they were Maya, they would be jumping rope by themselves because they were okay with it? How many friends think they would be jumping rope by themselves just because it's the only thing they had to do? That's sad. That makes me sad. All right, let's keep going. We hope we're still holding out hope here, friends. The next day, Maya's seat was empty. In class that morning, we were talking about kindness. Mrs. Albert had brought out a big bowl into class and filled it with water. We all gathered around her desk and watched her drop a small stone into the water. Tiny waves rippled out away from the stone. This is what kindness does, Mrs. Albert said. Each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world. So she has that bowl of water. She drops a stone in and she watches the stone make that ripple. Have you seen that in the water, friends, when you toss a stone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack, what are you thinking?
Ripple's kind of like a water sword.
It is. It might be something you put on a Post-it note. Yes.
That reminds me of the time me and my Aunt Cindy go in the forest. Or was it with Grandpa? But either way, I think it was with Grandpa, and I was skipping rocks across the water. That makes it go nice.
Yeah. And did you remember seeing that water move as the rock hit the water? It makes it move. So it says, the teacher says to her, each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world.
What do you think that means, friends? Read that again, Mrs. Kohler. Listen carefully to that statement the author wrote.
Okay, this is what she said. This is what kindness does, Miss Albert said. Each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world. Peter, what are you thinking?
Like a message.
Like a message? Tell me more.
Like if there's somebody that's really mean to other people, you like send messages to other people
could say that, but say it in maybe a little different way. What the author's trying to say. That was really good thinking. Is it Peter? Yeah. Does anybody have another thought?
What is the author trying to say on those words? As a reader, what should I be thinking about?
Mhm.
Barrett?
That, like, every kind thing makes you, like, a better person.
Anybody else? Those are all good thoughts. Read it again, Mrs. Kohler.
It says, each little thing we do goes out like a ripple into the world. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Chloe, the main character in the story. The little things she does, like not smiling back, turning away from Maya, not playing with the jacks. Those are each little things we do too. And that kind of rippled out to Maya and made her sad. So
So
those
you-
were little things that had a big effect.
Yeah. And that's what the author is telling us is tiny little things like not smiling back makes someone feel disappointed, sad, frustrated. Tiny little things like not playing jacks or putting the jacks away,
Yeah.
those are tiny little ripples, but they make a big impact, right? Think of a time, close your eyes right now and think of a time where you did something that wasn't so kind. You don't need to say it. Did that impact other people? Did it hurt other people? Did it frustrate other people? Well, that's good that you didn't. All right, go ahead.
All
Mrs.
right,
Clare.
let's see what happens. So the teacher's teaching them, finally that word came up, kindness, didn't it? All right, let's see what happens. Then Miss Elbert let us each drop the stone in as we told her what kind things we had done. So Miss Elbert is teaching about how kindness becomes a ripple, just like the thing that is unkind becomes a ripple. Joseph held the door for his grandmother. He dropped in his stone. Kendra helped change her baby brother's diaper. Dropped in a stone. Even mean old Andrew had done something. I carried teacher's books up the stairs, he said, and Miss Elbert said it was true. I stood there, holding Miss Elbert's rock in my hand, silent. That's Chloe. What do you think she's thinking about? Lillian? Yeah, when she was being kind. Even small things count, Miss Elbert said gently. But I couldn't think of anything. And I passed the stone on. She could not think of one kind thing.
That's not good.
How do you, no, it's not good, Jameson. How are you thinking Chloe's feeling?
Sad. Sued.
Look at her face. Look at her face in the.
She feels
Azuri.
surprised. She feels sad because she's been mean for like a very long time.
What other feeling might she have besides sad?
Are you looking at her face? Look at her face. What other feeling might that be? How about a friend we haven't heard from? Lily, how do you think she's feeling?
Sad.
Sad. What lets you know she might be sad? What do you notice in the picture?
She goes this.
Yes, she's got her head down. How else might she feel, friends? What's another feeling that you do when you put your head down? Jack?
Disappointed.
Disappointed in herself?
Or mad at yourself.
Mad at yourself.
Impressed.
Depressed. Maya didn't come to school that day or the next day, or the day after that. Each morning, I walked to school slowly, hoping this would be the day Maya returned and she'd look at me and smile. I promised myself that would be the day I'd smile back. Each kindness, Miss Albert had said, makes the world makes the world a little bit better. You know how we talked about how we were hopeful of what might happen in this story? Now this character's hopeful. She's hopeful that she's gonna see Maya again. What are you thinking, Ben?
How many of you are hoping to see Maya again? I am. Yeah.
But Maya's seat remained empty. And one day, Miss Albert announced to the class that Maya wouldn't be coming back. Her family had to move away, Miss Albert said. Then she told us to take out our notebooks. It was time for spelling. What do you think about that? What are you thinking? Jack, what are you thinking?
That it didn't work.
What didn't work?
When she,
Start again. Start again.
So something didn't work. Were you thinking about this page? What were you thinking?
she,
Chloe, the
she
character.
hoped, that she would come back.
And it didn't
Didn't work. Yeah. So you got it.
Yeah. What do you think about how Miss Albert said her family had to move away? Take out your notebooks, it's time for spelling. What do you think about that? How the teacher said that? What do you think, Lillian? She doesn't really care.
Wait, what?
It seems like the teacher didn't really care.
The teacher!
But Chloe cares, doesn't she? Let's see what happens. That afternoon, I walked home alone. When I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wished I would have said to Maya. Each kindness I had never shown. What do you think that feeling is if it feels like your throat has lots of words in it? That author's trying to let us know about a feeling that Chloe's having. What would that feeling be? Maybe frustrated again? She wished it was filled up with all the things she never was gonna have a chance to say. What are you thinking, Madeline?
I feel sad, mad, and depressed.
All those feelings, lots of emotions. I threw small stones into it over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, like each kindness, done and not done. Like every girl somewhere, and boys, you could think of it as every boy somewhere, because in this story the character's a girl, but it could have been a boy. Like every girl somewhere, holding out a small gift to someone, and that someone turning away from it. That's kind of a different perspective. The author wants us to think about Maya was holding out a small gift to Chloe in the form of that smile when she met her the first day, smiled at her. When she said, hey, look, I got these new jacks for my birthday. Maya was sharing out a kindness, and then it said someone turned away from it. How do you think Maya, or as Chloe thinks about this?
Chloe's looking back on that.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah.
When she's reflecting back on what happened, she's having a feeling that you sometimes get. What do you think, Jack? Do you know that feeling?
Oh. Mm.
Can I say that? Can I just say it?
Yeah.
Friends, that word is regret. When you regret something, have you heard being regretful?
Yeah, I regret a bunch.
You regret a bunch of things? Yeah, things that happen that you later are like, oh, I wish that hadn't happened. Or something doesn't happen and you're like, oh, I was really regretful that that didn't happen. She's thinking back on all the opportunities Maya gave her in the form of a kindness of a smile or playing jacks with her, jumping rope that she turned away from and she's regretting it. She's watching the ripples and thinking, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity for kindness and friendship.
Not a good friend, right?
I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples and the chance of kindness with Maya becoming more and more forever gone.
I already know the lessons.
What are you thinking, Madeline? Because that's the ending. What are you thinking?
Don't miss a chance to be kind and get a new friend.
Who can say it another way? That's awesome. Who can say it? Jack, what are you
She
thinking?
really regrets it.
Mhm.
So what do you think she'd do differently?
Say yes if he wants to play, try to be your friend.
Yeah.
So what will you guys do differently when it comes to those ripples in this classroom?
Those small little
Yeah.
opportunities for kindness.
What could you do in this classroom? Talk with each other. Go ahead.
Turn to a
What can you
partner.
do? What would you do, guys? The small little nuggets of kindness happen. What could you do? What would you do differently?
Hey, Peter.
What?
Not be mean.
You would take them? You would take those friendship opportunities, right? When someone asks you to play, right? Instead of turning away? Yeah. What would you guys do?
If someone would be mean to me, I would just walk away.
Let's shift it to the kindness, though. Let's say someone tries to be kind to you and you haven't been friends with them. What might you do?
I might just give it a try.
Yeah, giving it a try. You never know if that person's going to be a close friend of yours, right? Or just someone to play with at recess. What were you thinking?
If someone wants to be nice, you can be your friend.
Yeah.
You can be nice back to them.
Yeah. Always take those little nuggets of kindness, right?
Right? Because that's a little kindness for me. That's what I'm going to try to do. What are you going to try to do, Derek?
And if I didn't do it, I would regret it. And then if I could try again, I would try.
I love that. He's saying if he finds something he regrets, like if he does something and then he regrets it, he's going to try it again. That's even one step further, isn't it? We're going to try to grab that kindness when we can, but Derek's saying if I sometimes make a bad choice, I can try again.